Hey everyone, it's Jennifer with Rooted in the Rock, and I've got something dropping from the education branch right now. Hey everyone, welcome to Rooted in the Rock. I'm so glad you're here. Today I wanted to tell you how I set up my perfect teacher planner. Perfect for me anyway. Okay, I know everybody, there are a million different kinds, and you can get them at the office supply stores, you can get them at the craft stores, you can get them online, you can get them all kinds of places. And they're all very similar, except, there are a few different ones like Happy Planner that are a little more customizable, that sort of thing. But like I've said in previous videos, there wasn't one that fit me just right. So I made my own. I made my own calendar sheets. I made my own planning sheets. I'll put, if you didn't catch those videos, I'll put links for those products, I guess I should say. I did upload them online in case anybody wants to have that file to use for themselves. But I made my own calendar, made my own planning sheets. I made my own record keeping sheets, all the things. So what I did, I'm going to go step by step, tell you what was in my binder and how I did it. So first of all, it's a binder. So like I said before, the Happy Planner is kind of cool. A lot of people love it, and you can take things in and out, but you have to have a special punch for it, and it uses those discs. And what I was finding was where the way it punches, a lot of those little edges would get frayed and bent and messed up. So for me, it was a little annoying. Turning the pages isn't very smooth either. For me, this is just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people love Happy Planner, okay? But for me, it wasn't quite working. So, and also, I like binders. And then the question was like, should I use the half-size binder? Which I don't have one in here right now, but I use those for some other planner things. But for school, I wanted a regular full page, especially if you have a lot of grades to keep or things like that. And I like a bigger calendar because I was using calendars for planning. But anyway, I wanted a really good binder. So the binder, the Better Binder, it's actually called the Better Binder. It's at Staples, okay? I think Staples is national, right? So I think that you can pretty much anybody in the country can get one of these. You can order them on Amazon. However, they're more expensive on Amazon, or at least every time I've looked, they've been more expensive on Amazon than if I would just go to Staples and buy it. And if you can catch a sale, that's super good too. Now, I haven't been, because I don't need one at the moment, so I haven't been right this moment to see if they have these. Usually at the beginning of the school year, they have, so all year long, Staples has the Better Binders, okay? It's these regular binders, but instead of the cardboard covered in the, binders are usually like a cardboard cover, cover and spine, covered in that thin vinyl stuff. And a lot of times they'll end up splitting right here on the spine and the cover tears off or whatever once you've used it or beat it up a lot. But these are actually like these are a plastic, okay? So it's slightly bendable, like generally it's flexible-ish, okay? But it's this plastic, but the edges, what I love about these, it's called the Better Binder. And what I love about these is it has this rubber. I don't know if it's silicone or rubber or what, but it's got this rubber stuff on these edges. And also on the spine, it's got the rubber surrounding all four sides of the spine. Okay. And I tell you, this thing, this thing has been beaten to death, and it's still in perfectly fine working order. Okay, perfectly fine. Like, it could get cleaned up a little bit. It's pretty dirty where this has been shoved in a bag. It's had stuff piled on top of it, like all the things. It has gone back and forth with me to school and to home and all the things for years, literally years. I've probably used this binder at least 3 working years of school or more. 3, at least 3, maybe 4. I believe. I'd have to go back. I'm not sure exactly when I made it the first time. But anyway, I love these. So the Better Binder at Staples. Now, normally they do have them year round. If I have my smaller ones are in the other room, I could show you one of the regular colors. So they have a whole range, a whole rainbow of regular colors you can get. Now the regular ones, however, the rubber on the edges is black. And then you have your color, and they have lots of colors. If that doesn't bother you, that's fine. Now, I like this one. So at the beginning of the school year, usually they have a whole extra little stand of them in these pastel colors. They usually have well, in the beginning it was this purple, blue, green, and pink. The next year after that, they kind of, the colors vary a little bit. But seasonal, they have these other ones. And the rubber on these matches the color of the binder, which I like much, much better. I wish all of them had the matching rubber color. But I get, like, cost-wise, I don't know how hard that is to do. But, anyway. So, if anyone from Staples hears this, my suggestion is match the rubber with the color of the binder. It would be way better. The black isn't that bad though, depending on what you like. But if you're doing a lighter color like the yellow one, it stands out. I'll just put it that way. Anyway, so Better Binder at Staples. They have them year round, but at the beginning of the school year, a lot of times you can find these special pastel ones or whatever that I love purple and I love lavender. So this was my favorite. I got myself the purple. Now it's got the standard. In the cover, you've got the clear plastic that you can set your own paper in. So I made it so first was get the binder, okay? The second thing was, make a cover. So the first time, like here, I've got it blocked out. But I picked myself a pretty picture. I've done at least 2 different ones. I've updated it here and there, year to year. So the way I started it is I had my name. So I had Mrs. Hinkle, and then I don't remember if I had the year first or I think I had the school name and then the year set. And then each year I'd swap it out. And that way, if you want to change the picture out, like right here, I've got pretty roses, flowers, whatever. But I did like the name, the school name, and the year, the school year, 2023 to 2024. And then I, would swap it out. And then what I started doing was I had some teacher friends that asked me to make one for them. And then I started doing just the teacher name and the school name and not putting the year. And that way they could leave it in and you swap your stuff out from the inside year to year, but you don't have to get a new cover, especially if you're making it for someone else, right? Like, you don't want them to have to get a new cover every year. But sometimes you might want to switch out your colors. Who knows? A lot of schools go with a theme, like a science theme for the year or something like that. You could switch it depending on the theme for the year or whatever. There might be some people that might like to switch their cover out depending on the season. Like, who knows? But anyway, my suggestion is just your name and the school, or just your name, or, maybe you only teach a particular subject, however you want to do it, but make yourself a pretty cover and stick it in there. Okay. So binder, then cover. Now for the inside. Now, one of the things I like about the Better Binders too, is they have these pockets. The inside cover has a lovely little banded clear pocket. So things that maybe can't go in the rings, or maybe super special things that you want to keep in the front, you can pop in that pocket right there. Now, I always keep some extra notebook paper in the front in case I want it to put notes somewhere, or if someone needs one and I need one in a quick pinch, or I need to, whatever. So then dividers, okay? You want to have dividers because you're going to, like this notebook, what I did, the whole reason for doing the planner and doing the notebook and all of that was so I could keep everything together in one place, okay? My answer keys, my calendar, my grade sheets, my planning sheets, all the things, all the forms, all the things I needed were in this one place. And I would have it with me at school. I'd throw it in my bag and it would come with me home. So if someone, had a question after hours, or I needed to do some work over the weekend, I can't tell you how many times I went home and I meant to be grading math tests that weekend, and the my answer keys were at school. Or vice versa, like I was going to do something at school and whatever it was at home. That happened to me. I don't know how many times. And so when I did this, I was like, it was so much better. I was so much more efficient because I had everything in this one place, and it would go back and forth with me, home to school. But wherever I was, I had all the things. Okay. So dividers are really important because you want to separate all the things. So I found myself pretty dividers. Now, what I did was I got these, let me give you this example. It might be brighter. Okay. I got these they're clear plastic dividers. I just got them off at Amazon because the office stores didn't have these exact ones. And I like, pretty things. So I liked the prints that were on these, but it's a clear plastic sheet. You can't really see it this far away, but on each divider, there's a different pattern printed in white. I don't know if we can, you can see it a little bit here. But what I did was I got these dividers, okay, and I used colored cardstock, and I made title sheets. I guess you could call it a title sheet for behind each one. So let me tell you what my dividers were. So typical dividers come in sets of 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one is 8. Usually dividers come in 5 or 7 or 8, or, there are different numbers, but 5 is usually the least you see. This one has 8. So my first divider was titled for the school. And that one, I would put stuff in it that was specific to my school that I was at. If we had a specific event or teacher information forms, bus schedule, whatever the things may be, went behind that tab. My second tab was called forms. Okay? Forms. No matter what school you are at, no matter where you're teaching, you're going to have forms like this, like the accident report. Okay? These are very important, actually. But stuff like your accident report, if someone falls down and gets a boo-boo, or, has an incident on the playground or this or that, these are important, and you always have to have these. So what I did was, what I would do, I don't have it that way at the moment, but I would have 10 or so copies pre-copied, and I put them in the sheet protector. So there was a little stack of them in the sheet protector in the form section. So I had the accident report. What are some of the other forms? A vacation request, or sub request, or anything like that. Any kind of forms, reimbursement form, any kind of forms you need for school. I would have several copies. I would already, pre-make the copies, and I would have them in the sheet protector in that section. So they were handy dandy right there whenever I need them. The next section I always had was class. So this is where I would put, it keeps wanting to flip. Show me, the class. So this one was where I would keep the information about my class, like my beginning class list. You'll usually have a list of phone numbers, contact information for each kid. You might have allergy information for your class, all those sorts of things I would put in the class section, okay? The next section was my calendar, my regular overall calendar, okay? And for that, I used the calendar pages that I printed off myself. And what I did, so these are just ones that I print out, okay? And this is where I put the holidays, I put the kids' birthdays, I put other staff members' birthdays, anything like that I wanted to, look and see. If I'm planning for something, I want to see when there's a holiday. I want to make sure we're not in the middle of a chapter when we've got, spring break coming up, right? Things like that. I don't want to finish a chapter and then have a week off of school and then come back and take the test the day we come back. That's really poor planning. So we don't want to do that. So the calendar was super, super important for me. So I made my own with nice big boxes, plenty of room to write all the things. And also because I printed out my own, I did these little tabs. So I made myself, you can buy tabs that are kind of like Post-it notes, but they're tabs that you can put on paper. So I bought these pretty metallic ones, and I actually was able to fit basically the entire year all the way down. So if I needed to flip to a month, I marked all of them, and I did them in a downward order or whatever, so that they're all showing. And I just did summer. I didn't do June and July. I just said summer because I didn't use those a whole lot, but I did use them because you always have some kids that have a birthday in the summer or something like that. So summer camps and whatever. So I just had those together, but I do have room for one more tab down here, so they would have all fit. But they usually come in a pack where they're 3 wide, usually 3 colors. I've got yellow, pink, and blue, and they stick on and off. I've used these tabs, I think, at least 3 years. And what I do is I just peel them off and stick them on the next year when I refresh the calendar. So the calendar, super important, okay? Except the only thing with putting the tabs on the calendar is you can't see your other divider tabs underneath them. So you kind of have to move the calendar in order to see your other tabs. So it depends on if you want that or not. I like having the tabs to flip to particular months, okay, personally. Now, the next one was plans, okay? Plans. This is kind of self-explanatory. This was where I would keep whatever planning sheets I was using. There was one year where I was using these planning sheets where I only had to plan. We had someone else in the school, a curriculum director, that planned the Bible, history, and science. Those were everybody's subjects, or the subjects that we all stayed together on. So she actually did the main planning for that, and then I built off of that. And so the planning sheets that I made were only, language arts, math, and I had 3. Maybe it was reading and English, and I don't remember. But anyway, the 3 subjects that I really, really had to plan for, I made my own custom sheets for that. A different year, after that, at a different school, different system, different curriculum, the way I planned with that one, where I had multiple grades and multiple subjects, excuse me, what I did for that is I printed off another one of my calendars and used it instead of like a standard planning sheet. I used the calendar, and on the calendar, I would write in different colors for different subjects. And like for this day, I would put, L, ML, or like for math lesson, whatever. And I would write the lesson number. Like that's how I did my general overall planning. And then I did, some tightened down planning sometimes, depending if I needed to. But generally, I would plot it out that way on the calendar. So instead of planning sheets, I actually used a calendar. So I actually had 2 sets of calendars, one with dates and birthdays and holidays, but the other one I used for planning. That also works depending on the system your school uses and all of that. But anyway, planning is the next section. And then records was my next section. Records, so that's where I would put all my record sheets. So these that I showed in a different video, this is the split one, depending on what school you're at. These record sheets, I would have them printed out, but I used my purple color. Where's my purple? It's in here, but I'd have to flip to it. Anyway, I had matching purple and white lined record sheets that I kept in the records section. And in the records section, I kept attendance records, I kept grades, I kept, who has what book for different things, who's turned in this project, who's done this, who's done that, whatever, was all in my record section. Then I had, because I was keeping my keys, I have my keys section here for the next tab, and that's where our curriculum in particular, our math and English answer keys were like these little hole punched little booklets or whatever, and they were hole punched. So if you don't have one that's hole punched, you could print it and hole punch it yourself or whatever. But I had, or if it's a separate thing, or if it's online, or you have a disc with the answer keys, you could print them off like a chapter at a time. Whatever chapter you're on, you keep that answer key in here, or just print off the test answer keys, because that's when you never know exactly when you're going to have time to grade tests. If you're at school or at home, a lot of times you're not sure. So anytime like we would get done with a test or whatever, I wouldn't put them in the rings, but I would tuck them in around the records or the key section. I would tuck those tests into here. And if I got to them at school, great. Or if I did them after I got home, that was fine too. So the keys I would keep in here. So I'd always have them whether I was at school or home. And then the last tab, honestly, for me, I didn't really ever have anything in particular. Now, you might have something extra you want the tab for or not. I have a multiplication table back here and other websites and cool educational websites and things in here. Copies of multiplication table, whatever miscellaneous things you could use your last tab for. But that's it. That is my perfect teacher planner binder. Those are all, so let me give you those again together. The different tabs. I had an 8-tab divider set. So the sections in mine were, the first one was the school, second was forms, third was my class, fourth was the calendar, fifth was plans, like lesson plans, okay? 6 was records. 7 was answer keys, which I just put keys on the tab, okay? And then the last tab was just miscellaneous extra stuff. And for me, this was perfect. It was so much more efficient, and I always had it, and it was just fabulous. And it was working for me so well. I had other teachers saying, hey, can you make me one? And I made a bunch of them. I lost track. I don't even know how many of these I made for people, but and I'd tell them, hey, just tell me what color you want. And I made them I kept these title sheets that I did for these. When I was doing someone else's, like someone wanted pink, I get those color cardstock packs from Hobby Lobby. And you get them, and there's 6 different shades in it. You can get one particular color or certain sets, right? So I had a bunch of those that we used for portfolio pages anyway. So what I did is, when someone wanted me to do them a pink notebook, these title sheets I would do in different shades of pink. And so never do the same shade one after the other, but I would rotate it, this one, dark, then a little lighter, then a little lighter, and then dark, then a little, or whatever. I had a progression because I'm kind of a nerd that way. And so for that, in mine right here, I've got different colors. I did the school color for the school one, and I kind of hand-picked the colors. But in other ones that I made, I did those title pages with, now you could get other dividers that are solid or plain or whatever. You can just pull out what you've got extra already at home or whatever, but I like the pretty ones. But anyway, so I would match the colors of those with the color of the notebook. I'd just say, hey, what color do you want? And then I would, maybe show them I'd do up a couple of the covers and ask them which picture they want. Well, I asked them first of all. So I had one, she was I really like butterflies. So I found her, I don't remember how many, it might have been 5 or 6 different covers that had different butterfly pictures and different arrangements, and, did them up a custom one. And I did a bunch of those. It really really works and it really helps. And these are fabulous. Now, some people don't want a full size binder to haul around, or maybe you just want it for the calendar and planning and that's it. And maybe you don't want, now this, you can get binders in different sizes though too. These Better binders you can get in different widths. This I think is 2.5. I want to say it's 2.5 inch. Okay. I believe, or is it? I don't remember. I need to get a ruler and maybe it's 2 inch. You know what? I think it's 2 inch. I'm not for sure. But anyway, you can choose, that's another thing about binders, is you can choose whatever width would be better for you. So if you're only doing calendar and planning, or you're only doing certain things, you could get like a 1 inch binder instead of a 2 or whatever. Or if you need more space and you want all the things, you can always get a 3 inch binder. The pastels, I believe they went up to 3 inch. The regular Better binders, I know they go up to 3. I'm not sure if they have any bigger than that. I would have to look. I don't remember if they go higher than 3 inch. I want to say they do, but I'm not sure. Normally though, you don't want anything bigger than a 3 inch. It's like too hefty, but it depends on you personally. Or of course you could do this with a half size. It's kind of like half size this way, half page, but turned upwards, right? I do have a couple of the half size binders that I use for my personal at-home planning and my little Rooted in the Rock notebook, because I can throw that in my purse and take it with me if I want to work while I am somewhere or whatever. So depending on, you and what you want. Now for planning and record keeping and all of that, I wanted bigger pages. Personally, for me, the bigger pages were much better. The regular full size pages. But, you got to do what works best for you. For me, this was fabulous. And I have friends that also have used this for years and they love it too. So I just wanted to share that with you so that you can go out and make your own. Now, like I said, in the show notes, I'm going to put the link I uploaded the files for my calendar that I made and my planning pages. But also, like I said before, you can find them on Etsy and I think Teacher Pay Teacher. And, you might have one of your own that you like, or you might want to do you up one on your computer with, maybe you have a thing for butterflies and you want everything to be, have little butterflies on it, or whatever your theme is, or, whatever, you can do that too. But anyway, I just, that works for me. If you do something else, or if there is a particular planner that you think is awesome and you want to share, leave the comment on the video, leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments. Let me know. I would love to hear it. I would love to see it. Because, different teachers in different places, we're all kind of sort of the same, but at the same time, different school systems, different curriculums work differently for people. And when you're at home, so like we're homeschooling this year, I'm still using this. I still used my calendar in here to do my planning and things like that. So I'm still using this. And I think actually what I need to do, so we're using the Accelerated Christian Education homeschooling stuff this year, and the tests and the answer keys I should be putting in here. That just occurred to me. Instead of having them on a shelf or something, I should be putting them in my teacher book. Anyway, brilliant idea. Anyway, leave a comment in the notes. Please remember, like the video if it was helpful. If it gave you some new ideas, that's fantastic. That's what I'm here for. And if you want to catch the future stuff, be sure to subscribe. And I have a great week. La la la. La la la. We'll see. I always think of Chet from Santa Claus. It totally looks like I've got like weird stuff on the screen right here. It's the sun coming through the holes in the blinds. positive. Awesome.